Well, I'm fortunate today in that I'm with Charles Horton, and Charles Horton is the CEO of Fastbucks Holding Corporation. And Charles is a fascinating guy, but somebody who also, within his company and his personal life, has recognized the value of using executive coaches and lifestyle coaches as well. And so let me ask you to take a minute and tell us a little bit about your business. What is that business, and kind of what's the culture of your company like?
As you said, the company is Fastbucks Holding Corporation. Been in business now for almost 15 years. We have 60 retail locations throughout the United States with 160 employees, and we make short-term, high-interest loans.
Sure. And so with all of these retail stores, you have a regional management team as well as store managers and other
correct
management level employees.
We have two regions of 30 stores each, and then we have area managers that are under the regional directors.
And let me ask you, with a company this size, is it difficult to manage the personnel?
The way we've set it up, it isn't difficult to manage the personnel, but we do have a culture of coaching. We've had professional trainers come in and train all of our management team on coaching, and everyone in the company essentially coaches someone. So I coach the area directors. I also coach the whole company in management meetings, and then they coach the area managers. The area managers coach the store managers, and the store managers coach the store employees.
And this is really a great setup. It takes the idea of coaching, I think, to all levels of employee operations, which I know many of your employees. I've had the chance to work with many of them, to talk to many of them.
Yes.
They love working for Fastbucks. They see it as a great opportunity in their career. They enjoy the financial compensation. But I think that what they've told me they enjoy most is the accessibility of training. But not just training in skill development, but training in the qualities and the attributes that'll make them exceptional leaders within the company.
Absolutely.
Now, you do something interesting with the managers of your stores in relation to their compensation. How has that been brought about, the way you've chosen to compensate executives within your company through a process of coaching?
Well, it's not just executives, actually. We have a very unique remuneration style throughout the whole company. So all the way down to the store managers, you're paid based on performance. We have a review or bonus process that happens every month. If you're doing a good job, you can make a lot of money and you're paid like an entrepreneur. If you're not doing a good job, your pay drops down until you move on.
Sure. Now, using that as a way of self-selecting successful employees is an excellent strategy. If somebody is performing well and you notice that the performance level, you can measure that with the bottom line, continues to decrease, that gives you a way of course, identifying that maybe there are some potential issues with this employee that need to be addressed. At that point, do you bring in coaches, not simply for the team, but to address the individual needs of somebody within the management team who may be having difficulty?
Absolutely, and we use KPIs, key performance indicators, on a daily basis. So we look at all of the important numbers of our business on a daily basis. If your number starts to fall, we're going to be discussing it with you on a pretty rapid basis, and if it's not fixed within a week or two, then it elevates up in the coaching scheme. So we want to fix problems before they escalate out of control.
And so really that's a prevention technique that comes from a coaching model. Now, what would your business be like today after 15 years if you had never decided to adopt a model of coaching employees and using this really as a key element of your personnel management?
First of all, we wouldn't be anywhere near the size we are. I have a lot of friends that have tried to start businesses on their own, and if they don't give away control, if they don't empower their people to make decisions and run their own businesses, essentially, I believe you just can't do the kind of growth that we have. We've been Inc. 500 multiple times, multiple years in a row, and that's because of the team that we've put together and the empowerment that they have to do their jobs.
Now, I know that you have coaches certainly within your organization. You've created a hierarchy of who coaches who. You've also hired a lot of outside coaches to come in to provide that training. What is your relationship with those executive coaches, Ben?
So we use you included. We bring in a lot of professionals to train our team. We're a big training organization. So depending on the needs of the organization at the time, we'll bring in coaches such as yourself to talk on a specific area. Maybe that's dealing with human resources issues. Most of the training that we do is sales related and dealing with what you need to do to be successful at sales and getting people into your business. But we certainly talk about human resource issues. And our business is so particular or so measured by the employees' happiness in our stores. If somebody starts having family problems, then the store can go to pieces instantly. So by using those KPIs, if we find that somebody within our organization is having personal problems, then we step in and we set them up with a professional coach that deals with personal issues.
And one of the things that I have noticed about the outside individuals who you've brought in, some of those coaches come from a traditional business or entrepreneurial background, because you do treat each store employee as the entrepreneur of their own store, or each store manager as the entrepreneur of their own store. But you've also brought in a fair number of coaches whose background, like mine, is not necessarily in business, but really in psychotherapy. Do you see a place for the therapist who's transitioning into a coach role? In other words, do you see that these individuals have a particular value or a particular insight that you found beneficial as contrasted with other coaching backgrounds?
I do, because everybody, or a good number of people, have issues throughout their life. Somebody has a loss within their family. Somebody has a breakup. They have personal issues that they have to deal with. Maybe they've gained a lot of weight and they're feeling bad in their life. So putting people together with professional coaches to work them through challenges in their lives has been very helpful to us, and we have that actually through our insurance company that they set that up for us.
Sure. And I recognize that obviously coaching and therapy are two different things. You're not necessarily bringing coaches to provide psychotherapy unless there's a particular need, say a substance abuse type problem where they're going to be referred for specific counseling, mental health care, etc. But you're using therapists as business coaches who are not providing psychotherapy, but who can provide problem resolution strategies or an asset-based approach of helping an individual to achieve their highest level of potential?
Yes, and I'll give you kind of an example of that. Sometimes you don't mesh with your boss, for example. So if you're a store manager and you report to an area manager, maybe you're not getting along with them. You have different priorities. You see things differently. So we really believe in the power of the personnel that we have. We want to develop and train them. So we'll bring in an outside coach to work with that person individually. That's from not within our organization. So we bring in somebody and they work with them one-on-one to help them get to their goals if the area manager can't make that happen.
So it sounds like, for a person like me, there really is a lot of opportunity within a company like yours to either do consulting or to even work on a full-time basis with employees potentially.
Absolutely. We have had full-time coaches that just go around and work with store managers. We did that until our whole organization was trained in coaching. And we hired some of those people that were doing it
sure.
from the outside.
Now, you work with a lot of other entrepreneurs. I know that you're part of a social network here in Dallas, not an online network, but an actual lunch network of other CEOs here in the Dallas area. Do other CEOs who you are associated with, do they also utilize coaching with their employees?
The successful ones certainly do. The ones that have high growth, the ones that are running very successfully, they all use coaches.
Sure. So the idea of using executive coaches isn't a novelty. It's actually something you see not only within your organization, but within the successful businesses within the community where you are.
The successful businesses use coaches.
Sure. Now, let's shift this to a personal level.
Uh-oh.
You've certainly utilized coaches from an executive perspective within your organization.
Yes.
In your own personal life, have you used coaches for lifestyle-related issues?
I have. Recently, I had gotten up to 270 pounds. Somebody that you introduced me to, Dr. Kwitai Neal, we set up an arrangement, and she did some personal coaching with me, and from the things she taught to me about food, some hypnosis work we did, and just cutting portions in half, getting myself exercising. A lot of that came through hypnosis and coaching. I so far in 90 days have lost 30 pounds.
And that's fantastic, especially in such a short period of time. obviously with lifestyle issues, smoking cessation, weight loss, really other areas of personal improvement, personal development, coaches can be very happy, be very useful. And of course, I know Kwitai very well. She's an excellent life coach and an excellent executive coach. How is the coaching with her one-on-one different than the coaching that you see in an executive team? What's the function or the role of the coach on a personal level? Do you meet with her on a weekly basis? Do you meet with her on an informal basis? What's it been like over the last 90 days?
So we started out with a 1 10-hour session, so
Okay.
a full day session, and then there were phone call meetings, and then once a month we got together for a couple hours. If you know, with the reason that you need a coach is because sometimes we just lose that ability to stay on track, and so by having to report to somebody, that gives me the ability to have myself put back on track. So if I start having a couple of bad meals and then I have to report my results and the results aren't good, that allows me to get back on track. Same thing with let's say a coach at a gym. You know, if you don't know how to work out properly or you don't have the motivation to get there, hiring a coach and having them there at a certain time, they're going to tell you how to do it right, and they're going to make sure that you're there. Some of the best success I've had in my life with in working out and lifting weights and all has been when I had a coach and I knew I couldn't talk myself out of it that day. I knew I had to be there. They were coming all the way over here, and I'd be in trouble if I skipped out on it.
And even though a personal trainer may function as an athletic coach who might teach you the mechanics of doing a particular exercise, it sounds to me like the real value of that personal trainer wasn't necessarily in the mechanics of the exercise. You actually already know how to exercise, don't you? And you actually know the difference between healthy food and unhealthy food, don't you?
I do.
And you know the difference between a healthy portion and an unhealthy portion.
I do.
So it's not the mechanics or the specifics of how to that you were lacking knowledge in. It's the accountability, it's the teamwork, it's having somebody really who's with you, almost Charles's personal cheerleader.
I will say that's 90% of it. There still is that 10%. You know, we tell ourselves lies. So one of the lies that I told myself is that I really don't eat too much. I don't, I don't drink soft drinks. I don't do a lot of desserts. Yet I'm 270 pounds, and I convinced myself for the longest time that I was eating healthy. And a good part of that was being reminded what really is a healthy portion.
And or you can justify it sometimes the way I do. I'm just a big guy. I wear my weight well. I'm a Texan. I'm just tall and I'm just big. You know, both of us I think are a little bit bigger than the average person.
Absolutely.
And having somebody who says, "No, Charles, you're fat. No, Richard, you're fat." Boy, can really make a big difference. Somebody who cares about you enough to tell you the truth. Now, here, of course, is the difference. Those people who are in your personal life are probably less likely to tell you the truth than those who you've actually paid a fee for to find a specific solution.
Good point.
Well, Charles, I want to thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you taking a moment to speak to those who are participating in today's
My
webinar.
pleasure.
And again, I hope this time with Charles was valuable. Thank you very much.
Thank you.